Hi, and today we're going to talk about a few things that you can do in order to succeed on an asynchronous day. The first thing that I want to remind you of is what is an asynchronous day? Well, an asynchronous day is you've been given tasks, or you've been given videos to watch, or you've got consolidation work, so work to continue on with. And it's up to you to schedule your time. It's up to you to think and prioritize what is important. And of course, it's up to you to be able to succeed. And there are a few things that you can do in order to help you out. But as Banksy always says, if you get tired, learn to rest, not to quit. An asynchronous day is there for you to learn your self motivational skills, to learn how you can study to the best of your abilities. And of course, it's going to be one of those fabulous life learning aspects. So if you get tired, learn to rest, not to quit. So, what are some things that you can do? We'll start off by thinking about the day before. And in your mentor group, you'll be discussing this. So, the day before, make a list. What are all the things that you need to accomplish the next day? So, I know that I have an English oral presentation due in on Thursday, and my asynchronous day is on Wednesday. I'm going to make sure that that task is complete, that I have rehearsed it, and that I can get the best possible presentation done ready for the Thursday. Or maybe you've got a chemistry experiment happening on the Thursday. What tasks do you need to do before that chemistry experiment? Do you need to do the preparatory reading? Do you need to finish any of your questions? Or do you need to even think about how you design your experiment? So there are tasks that you need to do for the short term, but then there are tasks that you need to do for the long term. For instance, you're working on your VCD portfolio and you're thinking about where you're getting your inspiration from. You'll need to spend some time flicking through magazines, looking at what other people are doing. Or, for instance, you're working on your portfolio for fashion, then you can spend 10 to 15 minutes trolling through different fashion websites to see what you think you might like to inspire to make. What tasks would you like to do? Now, these are perhaps those things that you want to keep up to date with, those things that give you immense enjoyment, or they might like to be small little tasks that you think, oh, wow, if I finish that off because I'm in the zone, I've got focus time to do it, brilliant. I'll do those. For instance, one of the things that I've got lined up for tomorrow is to colour in my timetable. I've been putting it off for a while, and that's one task that I know is only going to take me 10 minutes to do, but it's going to give me absolute joy because I'll feel like I'm more organised. So, organise your tasks into what needs to be done and what you would like to do. And then schedule your day. Think about what time you're going to get up, what time you're going to eat breakfast, what time you're going to exercise, how you're going to break up the day. Think about what you need to accomplish within the day and what you would like to accomplish in the day. And the great thing about scheduling your day is creating a checkbox for your to do list. You might also have other daily chores that you need to do. Say, for instance, you're in charge of taking the bins out. So you might like to make sure that that's on there. Or you've got the daily task of making sure that your room is clean and tidy and you know you have to vacuum it. So schedule in that time as well. The great thing about this particular planner is right at the top, it's got what are my top priorities? What must I do? What is my top priority? Okay, and you've got to sort that out to schedule your day. So, time allocations. How much time should you spend on each one of these tasks? because the great thing about an asynchronous day, so working out when you want to do things, is you might spend more time on one subject compared with another. Say, for instance, you're in the middle of writing a history essay and you know you have to do a little bit more research. You might find that you spend more than the 40 allocated minutes of that period. You might spend an hour and a half on your essay, researching, highlighting, summarizing, thinking about your referencing system, and getting yourself organized for that particular essay. And anyone who researches for an essay, specifically for history, you know that's part of the requirements, part of the criteria, that you reference and you research widely in order to make your opinion. So, how much time is appropriate? Well, studies suggest anywhere between 30 and 45 minutes of sustained concentration time. And that means not going onto your emails, not being distracted by anything else that's going on, by the pinging on your phone, by the dog who wants to go for a walk, by the cat who wants a cuddle. Your concentration time between 30 and 45 minutes is what research suggests. And so it's a good idea after 45 minutes, if you feel that your concentration is waning, to get up, have a glass of water, go outside. No doubt it's going to be a beautiful day tomorrow. And it doesn't matter because that's what your mind will say to you. During your asynchronous time, asynchronous day, you will have time in order to go outside, smell the roses. So, anywhere between 30 and 45 minutes is great for sustained concentration. If you find concentration difficult, start off with those 30 minutes. And I'll give you some tips and tricks about that in just a moment. And then build up to the 45 minutes. And there are some people that will be able to build beyond that as well. Eat the frog. One of the most bizarre things I've ever been told, but I love the way where it stems from. Now, this frog is obviously too cute to eat. But eat the frog means begin your working day with a difficult task, something that you don't necessarily want to do. So, say for instance, you're anticipating that you have to write a creative response for English, and it's causing you a little bit of concern because of all sorts of different reasons. Maybe you haven't read the prescribed text. Maybe there are anxieties about being vulnerable and showing yourself. Begin the working day with your most difficult task. When you complete your most difficult task, it gives you an enormous sense of well-being. It gives you a real positive success vibe to push you through the day. Whereas if you end the working day with that difficult task, then you've been prolonging it all day. You've been giving yourself cycles of guilt all day of I should be, I could be, but you're not. And an old adage of shoulda, woulda, coulda, didn't happens when you end the working day with the most difficult task. So begin with what you think is the most difficult task. Now, difficult doesn't have to be hard, almost intellectually taxing. For instance, that doesn't necessarily mean that you'll begin with your special maths. You might begin with that task that you've been putting off. You might begin with that task that you've created barriers with in your mind psychologically. So begin the working day with a difficult task, or in the absurdity of eat the frog. Okay, focus. You've got to find your focus and you've got to fight for your focus. And there are plenty of ways that you can do it. But here are just 4 tips and tricks that you might use. The first one I would say is move your phone to a different room. Okay, set your phone on silent, put it in a different room. I understand that some of you are hotspotting off your phones because you've got Wi-Fi issues. If you are, then, and if you're at a desk, put your phone in one of the drawers and close the drawer. Make sure your phone's on silent. And also, it's a really good idea to put your notifications on to so that you don't receive notifications between your focusing time. So, say for instance, you get up, you do some exercise, or you go for a walk, you do Zumba, you're feeling really great, you have your breakfast, you're sitting down at your desk, it's 9:30, and you're like, oh gosh, I need to hotspot my phone. Turn your notifications off from 9:30 to, let's say, 11:30. Give yourself a 2-hour block. Put your phone, if you're hotspotting, into a drawer, and then think about starting your day well. Okay. Because you don't have your phone, but you may not be thinking about, well, how do I get into that focus? Then it's a really good idea to use a kitchen timer. Set your kitchen timer for 5 minutes. If you haven't started your task within that 5 minutes, get up, go grab yourself a cup of water or a glass of water, come and sit back down. Start again. Start the timer. Even if it takes you 4 or 5 goes, you're talking 25 minutes, which you can make up. Okay? Get into that focus. Okay? Making sure that your workspace is comfortable and making sure that it is upright. So, at a desk, at a chair is a really great place to be. On your bed, under your covers is not a great place to be. Think about where your workspace is so that you're free from distractions. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't sit outside to do your work. Say, for instance, you're reading because you're catching up on Burl rights, or you're reading because you are researching. Maybe you're outside because you're studying music performance and you know that you always sound better outside, or in the bathroom. Great reverb in a bathroom. Find your workspace, make sure you're upright. Make sure you're comfortable in what you're wearing, what you're dressed, but also that your desk space or the space around you is free of clutter. Yeah, no clutter in my workspace at all. So, it all depends on how you define what clutter is. And then the last one, and this is quite important, rewards for success. Some of us find rewards by just putting a line through a task that we've completed. Some of us find rewards by going outside and shooting hoops for 10 minutes. Some of us find rewards by going for a walk around the block or a walk with our dog. Cat walk, a little bit different. So, find different rewards that you have for success. Each time you succeed in something during your asynchronous time, build on that positive momentum. Reward yourself. Okay? Now, so I hope you found this a good step forward. I hope this helped you out a little bit. Remember that this is all about self-motivation. So, set yourself a schedule, work out what you have to do and what you would like to do. Start the day with a difficult task, and so you're not leaving it to the end of the day. And then think about how you can focus so you get those sweet spots in between 30 and 45 minutes without any distractions. Good luck, and I look forward to hearing the positive comments that you make after your asynchronous day.